Heidi. The orphan child Heidi comes to live with her grandfather in an alpine cottage. Since he mistrusts everybody, he refuses to send Heidi to school. Heidi goes to the pastures with a shepherd boy named Peter. Now read on. Heidi was awakened early the next morning by a loud whistle. As she opened her eyes, Heidi began to recall all that had happened. How she had come away from her former home and was now on the mountain with her grandfather instead of with old Ursula. She climbed down the ladder and ran outside the hut. There stood Peter already with his flock of goats, and the grandfather was just bringing his two out of the shed to join the others. Heidi ran forward to wish good morning to him and the goats. Do you want to go with them onto the mountain? Asked her grandfather. Nothing could have pleased Heidi better, and she jumped for joy in answer. But I tell you what, when you come home this evening, you will have to get right into the tub like a fish, for if you run about like the goats, you will get your feet dirty. Now you can be off. She started joyfully for the mountain. Heidi forgot even Peter and the goats. All of a sudden, Peter leapt to his feet and ran hastily after the goats. Heidi followed him as fast as she could, for she was too eager to know what had happened. Peter dashed through the middle of the flock towards that side of the mountain where the rocks fell perpendicularly to a great depth below, and where any thoughtless goat, if it went too near, might fall over and break all its legs. He caught sight of the inquisitive Finch taking leaps in that direction, and he was only just in time, for the animal had already sprung to the edge of the abscess. All Peter could do was to throw himself down and seize one of her hind legs. She struggled so much to get loose that Peter shouted to Heidi to come and help him, for he could not get up and was afraid of pulling out the goat's leg altogether. Heidi quickly gathered a bunch of sweet smelling leaves and then, holding them under Greenfinch's nose, said coaxingly, Come, come, Greenfinch, you must not be naughty. Look, you might fall down there and break your leg. The young animal turned quickly and began contentedly eating the leaves out of Heidi's hand. Seeing his goat in safety, Peter lifted his stick in order to give her a good beating. But Heidi cried out, No, no, Peter, you must not strike her. She deserves it, growled Peter, and again lifted his stick. Then Heidi flung herself against him and cried indignantly, You have no right to touch her. Leave her alone. Peter looked with surprise at the commanding little figure, whose dark eyes were flashing, and reluctantly he let his stick drop. Well, I will let her off if you will give me some more of your cheese tomorrow, he said, for he was determined to have something to make up to him for his fright. You shall have it all tomorrow and every day, replied Heidi, and I will give you bread as well, a large piece like you had today. But then you must promise never to beat Greenfinch or any of the goats. All right, said Peter. I don't care. He now let go of Greenfinch, who joyfully sprang to her companions. Heidi now felt quite happy again, and her little brain was so full of new impressions and new thoughts that she did not speak any more until they had reached the hut. The grandfather was sitting under the fir tree, where he had also put up a seat. Heidi ran up to him, followed by the white and brown goats. for they knew their own master and stall. Peter called out after her, "Come with me again tomorrow. Good night."